So we have Ty's G35 in the shop today. We are currently working on dropping the subframe to do the fuel tank in his G, because at one of the last events he had to get towed off track and they pushed his fuel tank up, and his fuel sending unit doesn't work, and he would like to be able to put gas in his car at a decent rate. So hopefully that'll fix it, because we have a whole new fuel tank we're swapping in it. And we also might be able to put some coilovers on it. Undecided still. We don't know how bad everything is. But step one is taking off the brake calipers. We got a parking brake that fell out.
Good inside that.
Yeah, I smelled it.
Yeah.
Smells like that rust dust when you're doing bad brakes. But take the exhaust off, undo the shocks, but we're probably gonna do that towards the end. But yeah, we're just gonna film an update as we go. So, long day. Subframe's gotta come out for the fuel tank. So far we got the drive shaft out and the exhaust out, and the calipers are undone. Now we're gonna take out these parking brake cables and unbolt the struts or the shocks, and I think the subframe should be ready to come out after that, which is just these 4 bolts. Oh, and probably have to take off this brace right here. But yeah. So now we have the transmission jack supporting the subframe after we undid these 2 shocks on the knuckle, and we undid the e-brake cables. They're just like a bicycle where you gotta hammer them through on this side, make sure that the cable's lined up, pointed outwards. And now we are undoing the bolts here and the big nuts to drop down the brackets and the subframe. We also undid this connector for the wheel speed sensors on the differential right there. And yeah, this thing should be ready to come out soon. So now it's thumbs up, Ty. Subframe is now out. These springs are sitting over there. But yeah, the suspension is out now. Now we're gonna start working on that fuel tank. Ty said there's 2 straps, and then we have the filler neck wherever it goes, which is actually this hose right here. So that won't be hard to disconnect. And then we're gonna have to go through the back seat and disconnect the fuel lines, the connectors, the level sensor, all that. Make that face again?
Yeah.
Let's make that face again.
There's another one.
So we just lowered the car back down. The subframe is out. We are now underneath the rear seat. We're gonna take these covers off and undo these connectors on the top hats, which you guys will see in a minute. But that's what we're doing right now. Here you go, Ty. So, scratch the Phillips screwdriver. Use pliers and just pinch down on them and move the tabs 90 degrees so you can slide the top hat off. And now you are exposed to 1 connector on the driver's side and a fuel line and a connector on the passenger side. And yeah, so then I'm pretty sure that'll be everything up from the top. We will double check to let you guys know, but yeah, so far so good. So now we're about ready to pull the fuel tank out. We disconnected this hose that goes up to the tank. This is for the filler, I believe.
And that's the vent.
That's the vent?
This is the filler.
Okay, so this is the filler tube, this is the vent tube, and this is a little tube for evap probably. And he never was able to pump gas correctly, so that's weird. Kinked hose right here, we're gonna have to replace that. But then there's 2 tank straps, but before you do them, you gotta take the heat shield off so you can disconnect them from the chassis if you wanna do it that way, which is the way we were wanting to do it, with holding the fuel tank in. So Now we're just gonna lower it down and hopefully the fuel tank is gonna be out. So we are just now getting back from our lunch. This is our brand used tank right here. We're gonna switch all the things over to this one except the level sensor. Just basically those two hoses actually, because this hose is that hose now. And yeah, but we're gonna get stuff swapped around and then put this one up on the transmissions jack and then put it in the car. All right, we're completing side quest out here. Right now we're squatting Ty's G35. We had these coilovers sitting around that Matt Calkins gave us. Good homie of ours. Well, we just adjusted the spring rate and the ride height since they were kind of wonky. And he said that when he drifted, the car would kind of like three-wheel at some points in the rear. So we're gonna see if adjusting the spring rate and the ride height to match is gonna fix that. So, and then we'll get back to putting the gas tank and subframe in. So we are putting the top of it back together. We have the tank straps very loosely in. We also touched up some of the rust while we were underneath. So yeah, we did that. And now just making sure the lines and connectors weren't pinched, and then we're gonna go back underneath and tighten them up. So yeah, then we're gonna put the back seat in, tighten it up, and then we'll be done with the fuel tank. Subframe is now on the trans jack. Gas tank is fully in with all of the hoses plumbed, routed correctly, connectors up top done, and our heat shield bolts actually broke off. So we took the handbrake cable out completely and made a little block off plate with cardboard. And since this was an auto car, it didn't have the pull style, it had a foot pedal. So we just decided to take the interior apart and take that cable out. And we were probably gonna just route these cables somewhere, probably zip tie them somewhere that we're not gonna get caught up. Or we're gonna take the handbrake assembly apart since that's not gonna be needed anymore. But yeah, now it's time to get this thing in the car.
Come here, it's worth it.
Bro,
Quick.
that spider is huge. We went to ride the Ranger to go get some drive shaft bolts from the parts car. Oh my God. Look at that guy. All right, another update on the car. So the rear coilovers are in. I believe we just have the brakes to finish up. The exhaust is back on. Ignore it, it's temporary. The drive shaft is in. The heat shield is not there like we said previously. And we didn't actually remove the e-brake cables just yet because we don't feel like gutting the internals tonight, and we don't feel like cutting the cables, so we can't use them. But we got them zip tied to the heat shield mounting brackets, and then there's the bolt up there. Same on this side, bolt up there, zip tie here. The coilovers did give us more issues, so now it is midnight outside. It's not actually midnight, but it's dark out, and yeah, and then don't forget to plug the sensor back in up here. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're just about done. We're also gonna fit these HR wheels on the back instead of the ASA 19s we have. But we're gonna see how she sits. She's gonna sit a little tooted, but it's also because in the next video or however long away, we get to install this GK Tech kit on Timothy's car. Along with, I'm letting him use my, oh, wow, who put that change there? I'm also letting him use my spare D2 coilovers I have in the bottom of my toolbox that have been sitting there. Rear ones are blown, or I would have let him use those. But yeah, so he's gonna have D2 up front with the GK Tech angle kit, and then he has race lands in the rear. But we're gonna see how this sedan rides with coils and floaties. All right, she's almost done, so we're gonna knock the rest out and update you guys once she's done and the shop's cleaned up. So after all this work, take a wild guess. What happened? So apparently someone drilled a hole in the fuel tank to get all the fuel out of it. And we did all of that for nothing. Whoa. Yay. But the car looks good. This sucks, dude. We gotta find a fuel tank like tomorrow. I'm glad I said 5 gallons. I'm glad we didn't pour it all in. That's the way it is. So I guess Ty will find his Easter egg sooner than expected. That's his Easter egg. He doesn't know about it yet. But yeah. So I am not making another video on dropping the fuel tank again, but we are going to do it. So yeah. Whoopee. Like and subscribe for Ty's luck. He's been gifted the worst luck the last year. Sorry, buddy.
I'm sorry.